Hello, everybody. I know it sounds like magic, but my next guest can increase nonprofit donations using artificial intelligence. He's Adam Treiser, founder and CEO of Arjuna Solutions, and he's got this new Exact Ask product we're going to tell you about today. So stick around.
Welcome to the Your Mark on the World show with your champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
This episode is made possible via the support of our sponsors, including Johnson & Johnson's Caring Crowd. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you and grateful that you'd make the time for us. We're excited to share this with our audience and appreciate you taking the time to share it with us.
Absolutely. Love your guys' show.
So tell us about Exact Ask.
Yeah, so Exact Ask is an artificial intelligence tool, or what I'd like to say, it's built on Arjuna's patented AI. But what it's really doing is that right now, if you're a nonprofit, you probably have an officer or employee that is responsible for managing all the major givers your nonprofit has. And that's an extremely important role. And that person will actually personalize the communications. They will personalize the outreach. They'll get to know that major donor. And then through all their work and research, they will actually figure out what they believe is the appropriate amount of money to ask. Now, Exact Ask is doing a very similar process, but for the thousands to actual millions of other donors that are sitting in a nonprofit CRM.
It's kind of magic in that you're able to figure out how much to ask a potential donor to give. But obviously AI runs on data, big data we often call it. Where does the data come from that you're using to make those evaluations?
Yeah, well, I think what's really important here is that it's not magic at all. In fact, when you walk into a store and there's a sales clerk, the first thing that sales clerk is going to do is they're going to take a look at you. They're going to see which products you're stopping by, which counters. They're going to see which ones you pick up, which ones you don't. They're going to, if you look down at one product and you go like this, there's all these behavioral movements that as a customer you're going to engage in. And those behaviors, they actually tell the sales clerk how interested you are in a various product, how badly you want it. And so what we're actually doing is we're taking that very similar behavioral type data that most nonprofits already have. It's sitting in their email marketing platform. It's sitting in their CRM. And this is the type of data of, did they open this email? When? What time of day? Which emails do they open? Our system will actually take the content of all those messages and communications, and it starts to break it down to understand what the message was. And then it starts to get an understanding of how valuable your cause is to this donor. How interested are they really? And once you can get a sense of that, the AI is able to actually start to create what we call a willingness to support curve, which is just, think of that as how much does this donor really support your cause and how much are they willing to actually support it with money?
It's a fascinating technology. It seems like it has a huge potential impact, because one of the things that I've seen in my research around fundraising for nonprofits is that if you ask for the wrong amount, whether it's too high or too low, you lose money. If you ask someone for too much money, they're likely to say no, not offer you less. If you ask someone for too little money, they may offer it up when they would have been willing to give you twice or 10 times as much, right?
That's exactly right. I'll never forget this experience I actually had when I was a kid. And I'd gone up to my mom and I basically said, Mom, I really want ice cream. I want ice cream really, really badly. And she goes, okay, you're going to tell me how badly you want this ice cream. What chores are you going to be willing to do if I give you ice cream? And I rattled off, I'm going to clean my room. I'm going to make my bed. I'm going to take out the trash. I'm going to do the dishes. She signed on the dotted line so fast. She was like, I would have taken maybe just go to bed on time.
Yeah.
So we've all been in this scenario before. What's happening with nonprofits is exactly what you just said, which is that especially when you think of the database of donors, all the emails, the direct mail, and remember that in last year, it's estimated that nonprofits sent 272 billion direct to donor solicitations for gifts. So when that's happening at that scale, there's usually either one price point or there's a set of tiered price points. But what's happening is that it's generally going to be a set of or combination of price points that's being offered to one or a large number of donors. And whenever that happens, you know that you're leaving money on the table in the following form. Some donors you're going to ask too little from, they give and you would have given less. Other donors won't give it all, but they would have had you ask them for a lower sum.
Yeah, that last part is really important because I think sometimes people feel like a small donation wouldn't be appreciated if you ask for a big one. But if you ask for the small one, you can get that. And so there's real value in knowing the right ask, isn't there?
There is. And I apologize. You can probably hear my dog barking in the background.
He's excited about this too.
Yeah.
Listen, Adam, what are the results? What kind of impact are you seeing based on having done this now for a couple of years?
Yeah. So within 12 months, the average donor, their lifetime value increases by 20%. Within 24 months, it's 72%. It's dramatic. Really, really impactful. And one of the things that's really intriguing here is that our system, Exact Ask, is based on the relationship model, meaning that there was a time when our economy was all transactional. Everybody wanted to, optimize the transaction, optimize the campaign. But we know with social media, with mobile apps, with email and websites, all nonprofits are now in a direct relationship with their donors, and it's a long-term relationship. There aren't, one-off. It's really not about one-off transactions. And so what you have to realize is that if you ask for $100 today, that is having an impact on how much the donor may give the next time and if they give the next time at all. So if you're trying to maximize the value of that relationship over time, you have to be very aware of what you do today and how it's going to impact that value going forward. And an AI system is really the perfect tool to figure that out. So while it's 19% in year one, what we see is that jump to 72% within 24 months. And that's because of the AI's ability to actually optimize the relationship value, not just the transaction value.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. Adam, where did this notion, this technology all come from? You're a lawyer, not a tech guy.
Don't hold that against me. I'm a lawyer by training, but I never enjoyed it much. Yes. So where it pretty much came from is that one day I was sitting in my law firm office, and I found it to be incredibly boring. I did not feel as if I was actually impacting the world in a meaningful way. And in fact, what the law firm would use me most often for was helping to get a certain deal closed. So if there were two sides that were trying to come to the table, I happened to be very good at understanding each side's business perspective and helping them figure out a price point that would make sense to both sides. And when I realized that wasn't really having the impact on the universe that I would like to have, I stopped and I pretty much just said, so what could I do? How can I actually change the world to be substantially a better and more equal place? And what I realized is that, I bet you nonprofits today, they are not actually realizing the full value of their donors. There's a lack of resources. There's an epic fight over whatever resources exist amongst nonprofits. I mean, there's 5 times more nonprofits coming online every year relative to how many new donors. And so what when you think about that competitive environment, what you're left with is, well, if you actually have a cause where you mean something to a donor, you mean $100 to that donor, but you ask them for $50. You did everything right. you had a great cause, you just didn't ask for it. And I realized if I could take my skill set in figuring out the price point that seems to reflect how much something is worth to other people, then I could help nonprofits ask donors to give an amount that actually reflects how valuable that cause is to that donor. And if I could do that at scale, then I would be able to have a substantial impact on this world. And that's how we got here.
Yeah, very cool. Now, Adam, I know this is going to be intimidating to some nonprofits. And of course, all nonprofits, from the smallest to the largest, are going to be intrigued by this, but it probably isn't for everybody. Who are the nonprofits that will benefit the most from your technology?
Yeah, any nonprofit that is trying to engage in a relationship with its donors. It's not necessarily a function of how many donors you have. So we work with groups with literally tens of millions of donors in their system. And we work with one that has, I believe the smallest is 900. So the range is huge. But what the common theme behind all of them is that it's not just like they're going out there, buying a list, hitting these people up once, and then kind of not doing anything further. If you're going to be sending emails and communications, if you're going to try to maintain a long-term relationship, this tool is perfect for you, because the AI, as with every new interaction in that relationship, is going to get smarter, and it's going to understand the nature of that donor a little better. And what's even more important is that we actually are no longer just limited to providing the ask amounts. So we now have other products and other decisions that we can actually sell. One of them, Exact Cadence, is proving to be one of the most impactful ones, which is we don't just tell you how much to ask every donor. We tell you when you should be asking which donors. And it's amazing. Oftentimes, that means that nonprofits may actually send fewer messages, but the donor relationship ends up lasting a lot longer. They don't get spammed. So,
right.
There's a lot out there, and this is not a tool that's been built for sophisticated data science teams. We took all that out. We sell you the decision. I mean, look, at the end of the day, any type of intelligence is only valuable to the extent it helps you make a better decision.
So let's talk a little bit about what is required from the nonprofit in terms of IT resources. There probably isn't a single nonprofit in the country that's sitting around saying, boy, we've got some surplus IT resources. I wish we had something to use them on. So whether you're talking about the largest nonprofit or the smallest, there's a constraint there. How do you fold this into their IT process?
Yeah, this is really not an IT issue one bit. This is actually just a fundraising tool. So what happens is that for most fundraising platforms like Donor Perfect, Neon, Salesforce.org, we have integrations with them on the back end. So you can basically plug in your username and password, and we can get the data very securely directly from there. But at the same time, you could just take a CSV file, dump it into our system, and that's all you would have to actually do. Your rest of your workflow stays exactly the same. You would design a campaign on the dates when you want to send it. The fundraisers do everything like they normally would. I'm going to say about 2 or 3 days or maybe a week before they're going to hit send. They simply send the target list over to us. We run it through, we calculate the numbers, and we put the numbers right back into their system, and that's it. So it's really a very simple thing.
And it costs $7 million.
I wish. No. Actually, we believe strongly, and this is one of the things that does make us different, is that we should only be taking, we have to be adding more value than what we actually take. And so the price point actually is between 11 and 15 cents a price, basically a unit you buy from us. And the average unit we sell generates currently 73 cents. So it's a pretty healthy ROI. No long-term subscriptions, no upfront capital expenses, no maintenance fees, no consulting fees, no data charges, none of that. It's just 11 to 15 cents, and then go ahead and use it.
Well, Adam, what are you most proud of having accomplished?
I would say putting together a team of people here at Arjuna that has the same values I do. And what I mean by that is everybody here. We have one guy, Michael. He used to be head of go-to-market strategy globally from Microsoft. We have another one who is head of corporate partnerships at the NFLPA. And we have a former manager of PricewaterhouseCoopers and a former NASA rocket scientist. You're talking about people who were at the very top of their fields. And they came here for one reason only. We all believe that there is substantial good that we can achieve together. And the way that we want to do it is by enabling nonprofits to make better decisions at scale, which gives them more resources. So when you think about the amount of effort, truly, it's taken me to assemble a team that is as focused and has the values that mine does, I can say that is hands down what I'm most proud of. Second only to how much money we've actually helped nonprofits make.
Fantastic. Now, Adam, what's the most important lesson you've learned as you've been working on this project?
The importance of really, and given our political cycle these days, this will be a very pertinent message, but the most important lesson has to be to focus on discovering the truth. We've seen a lot of data science shops. It's very easy to manipulate numbers, manipulate experiments to make someone's product or whatever it actually is look like it did really well or look like it did really poorly. And there's a lot of factors that could cause an experiment to go well or to go poorly. But the most important thing is to actually be dead set focused on discovering the truth of what actually occurred. Because if you can do that, you can replicate it, and you can replicate it well, and you can learn it well. And so cutting through all of that, and it comes from a lot of places, but you have to be dead set focused on figuring out the truth of what really happens, and being completely, I'm going to say, you do not apologize for that one bit, whether things go good, whether things go bad.
That's great. Now, Adam, I want to drill down a little bit on something you said earlier. You talked about wanting to do more good in the world, and you left law because you thought you could help the world improve with this project. What do you think is the underlying motivation for you? Why did law and closing deals not fulfill you?
We've all had experiences when we were at a younger point in life. And for me, I explicitly remember these experiences where, for one reason or another, a mentor or somebody who was older or more experienced came up to me, or I somehow was put in touch with them, and they showed me something about life. They showed me lessons they've learned, and it changed my life forever. And I realized that after all of that, the true inequality in life is that a very small number of people will ever have access to that kind of knowledge. That kind of knowledge that really leads to better decision makings, to these types of decisions that can really help your nonprofit grow. And so when I thought about that, I'm really motivated to say, how can I help other people get that same knowledge? Because truly, I believe in giving everybody a fair and equal chance. But to do that, that means putting them on the same playing field, knowledge base wise. And so with AI, we're able to get substantially closer towards that goal. And in the end, when that's the case, the best organizations win. The groups that deliver the most good will garner the most support. And I think that's really the best way to help this world.
Adam, what's your superpower?
I think my superpower has to be the ability to stay focused and patient. Really.
That is a powerful superpower. Well, Adam, I do thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We are grateful that you would make so much time for us. Before you go, would you take just a moment and tell people how they can learn more about Exact Ask and Arjuna Solutions and how they can connect with you personally?
Yeah, so you can just go to exactask.com, and on that webpage, you'll be able to click on any one of the links, request more information, take a look at the case studies there. And we will be providing a couple of special links to you, Devin, that you can share with your subscribers that will take them directly. They can bypass the website entirely, and this link will take them exactly to what we imagine your subscribers want, which is how do you ask for more specific information directly.
Great. Well, we really appreciate that, Adam, and thank you for your time again, and wish you every success in helping nonprofits to raise money, more efficiently.
I appreciate it.
All righty. Let's do some good.
At Caring Crowd, we believe everyone has the power to make a difference. Through our crowdfunding platform for community health, we empower passionate people to drive real change. Whether you work for a nonprofit organization, volunteer, or want to get involved for the first time, you can post a campaign on Caring Crowd. Join us, because caring is where change begins.
Thank you for listening. Devin Thorpe's mission is to end extreme poverty, improve global health, and mitigate climate change before 2045 by finding and sharing the stories of those who are doing the most good. You can join with other listeners to accelerate Devin's mission by visiting helpdevin.org right now.